Weird facts about Doritos. Everyone loves the loud crunch and cheesy taste of Doritos, but you have to admit, it's a pretty weird snack. This dust-covered tortilla chip is enjoyed around the world, from the small town of Philomath, Oregon, to the dungeons of Romania. Shaped like Bill Cipher, many have often wondered if this lunch favorite has ties to the Illuminati, if it was secretly invented as an edible ninja throwing star, or if it is merely a sandwich sidekick with no inconspicuous connections to the occult or martial arts whatsoever. Addictive, finger staining, and undeniably delicious, there's a lot about Doritos you probably don't know, and it's all pretty weird. Here we'll look at some weird facts about everyone's favorite tortilla snack chip, Doritos. If you enjoy this video as much as you enjoy Doritos, you know what to do. Like it, share it, and subscribe. Now wipe that orange crust off your fingers and let's go. Number 1, Doritos were invented at Disneyland? Walking around Disneyland today, you might never guess that it is home of the Doritos corn chip. The immensely popular theme park is the birthplace of Doritos, but there is little evidence of that inside the park itself. There are no Doritos monuments erected in the snack's honor, not a statue in sight, and Disneyland has yet to build an amazing Doritos ride. In fact, purchasing Doritos inside the beloved tourist destination can sometimes be harder than uncovering the Ark of the Covenant. If Disney is proud of being the parents of Doritos, they certainly don't show it. Number 2, Doritos have one trashy origin story. Doritos began life as straight up trash. The popular brand of corn chip was concocted in the kitchen of Disneyland's Casa de Fritos, where patrons could dine down on several delicious Mexican dishes while visiting the park. Cowboy caricature the Frito Kid enticed children and parents alike to enjoy tacos and burritos in between rides. I mean, talk about your stomach aches. The iconic Fritos corn chip was incorporated into quite a few of these dishes. Doritos themselves were invented inside the Casa de Fritos kitchen sometime in the early 60s, resulting from far too many tortillas being thrown in the trash. Cooks repurposed this stale garbage in an effort to save cost, turning the traditional Mexican snack known as totopo into fried gold. Cut and seasoned, Doritos resembled dried chilaquiles and were a near instant hit with diners. Frito-Lay noticed their popularity, moving them out of the amusement park and onto store shelves in 1964, where they've been bought and enjoyed ever since. Number 3, Doritos dust is more addictive when you lick it straight off your fingers. Gross! Snack connoisseurs often wondered what makes Doritos so darn addictive. Even opening the party-size bag containing a whopping 15 ounces of delicious, cheesy goodness, it's sometimes impossible not to finish the entire thing in one sitting. This becomes especially true if you nibble the cheesecake crust off your dirty fingertips in between munching chips. Licking Doritos flavoring straight from the skin is more addictive than just eating the tortilla chips by themselves. The flavor impact is strong, like a jolt of electricity to the tongue, because you are no longer diluting the chemicals that make the snack so darn flavorful. You can blame Doritos' addictiveness on the lactic and citric acids contained within this gas station staple. These acids are sure to get your taste buds salivating, causing you to drool all over your desk while scarfing them down at lunchtime. Doritos also contain a healthy amount of buttermilk, which really packs a lactic acid whammy, sending the brain into a flavor frenzy. You better watch out. Slurping up too much Dorito dust could turn you into a snack maniac. You could lose friends, ruin relationships, and find yourself pacing outside the local Dairy Mart waiting for them to open so you can get your fingers on the latest flavors. It's an addiction that's hard to beat, and it will turn you atomic orange in the process. Number 4, Doritos were accused of being too dangerous to eat. Way back in the 70s and early 80s, during Doritos' heyday, they were sometimes used as throwing stars on playgrounds across the country at lunchtime. Their triangle corners were sharp and sturdy, making for great tasting recessed weapons. You had to be careful swallowing these hazardous edibles because they had the tendency to scratch throats and bruise tongues. Everyone at some point in their life has stabbed the roof of their mouth with a rogue Dorito. In 1993, Frito-Lay, a wholly owned subsidiary of PepsiCo, was sued by a man who deemed the tortilla chips too hazardous to eat. Carl Grady claimed that his throat had been permanently damaged while partaking in a nibble of the genetically modified corn. The lawsuit accused the chips of being inherently dangerous because of their shape and rigidity, allegedly resulting in a torn esophagus. Grady even submitted a study from a former chemistry professor who had delved deep into the Doritos weeds, developing guidelines on how to safely consume the tri-pronged snacks. The study was thrown out of court for not meeting scientific standards. Pennsylvania's Supreme Court ruled against Charles R. Grady in a case that stretched on until 2004. That's over a decade. That hasn't stopped moms from breaking off the spear-shaped corners of this chip for their children to consume in a means to ensure safety at lunchtime. In 1994, Frito-Lay began its costliest redesign in company history. They spent $50 million to reconstruct the Dorito without losing its edge and flavor among snack fans worldwide. The chips were more strongly seasoned. More importantly, and perhaps a reflection, if not a direct result of the Grady lawsuit, Frito-Lay rounded the chip corners so that they could no longer be a threat on the playground or in the break room. The redesign took 2 years of research and reportedly involved 5,000 chip eaters. Doritos aren't as dangerous as they used to be. They've never officially been deemed a lethal weapon, and thankfully there are zero reports that prisoners have ever used them as shanks. The world is safe for now. Number 5. Nacho cheese was not the first Doritos flavor? Can you even believe it? Trolling the chip aisle of the local supermarket the past couple of years, surely you've noticed the retro bag of taco-flavored Doritos buried amongst the nacho cheese, Cool Ranch, and spicy chili options. Perhaps some older viewers may even recall this favorite flavor from childhood. But did you know it was the very first Doritos flavor ever introduced to the market? When Frito-Lay initially moved Doritos from their Disneyland kitchen into grocery stores way back in good old 1964, they were only available in plain, salted, toasted corn style. It wasn't until 1967 that the taco-flavored chips arrived. It would be a full 5 years until the signature nacho cheese Doritos changed the snacking landscape forever. Debuting in 1972. We had to wait impatiently until the 80s for other specialty flavors to even show up. There have been many that have come and gone. Perhaps you vaguely remember sour cream and onion flavored Doritos? What about sesame seed flavored? That seems pretty weird. Taco flavored Doritos aren't the most popular flavor amongst modern day snacking aficionados, but their place in Doritos history can't be denied, and it doesn't appear they are going anywhere anytime soon. Number 6. Chester Cheetah had his own Doritos flavor. A Cheetos flavored Dorito? Ludicrous, right? Well, turning fingers nuclear orange and creating an insatiable appetite for artificially colored chemicals wasn't solely left in the hands of Chester Cheetah's signature lunchtime snack. In 1995, Frito-Lay thought it would be a fine idea to cover their Doritos tortilla chips in the same day-glow dust found on their Cheetos products, bringing the world one of its earliest snack collabs and junk food junkies one step closer to elastic-waisted pants. Chester didn't get to rule both the world of Cheetos and Doritos for very long. His brand of corn chips quickly fell out of favor with elementary school munchers, and Chester's cheese Doritos turned out to be a very limited item. They were replaced in 1997 with the spicy nacho flavor that can still be purchased at fine stores everywhere even today. Chester would have to move on to Regal movie theaters, where in 2008 he got his own concession stand popcorn. Number 7. Tom Waits sued Frito-Lay over Salsa Rio Doritos. Imagine Tom Waits' surprise while visiting a Los Angeles radio station in the late 80s when he heard a pitch-perfect imitator of himself during one of the commercial breaks crooning about Salsa Rio Doritos. The zesty new flavor was introduced in 1988, and Frito-Lay wanted a Tom Waits sound-alike shilling the snack. Advertising agency Tracy Locke Inc. auditioned recording engineer and Dallas musician Stephen Carter for the job, but he sounded a little too good. The company almost didn't hire him, afraid of possible copyright lawsuits. They should have gone with their first instinct. They eventually brought Carter into the recording studio anyway, where he parried the carnival barker from Tom Waits' 1976 album, Small Change. Waits was dumbfounded when he heard the radio spot crooning, "There's a new tortilla chip called Salsa Rio Doritos. It's buffo, boffo, bravo, gung-ho, tally-ho, but never mellow." He sat with his mouth agape, wondering if he'd recorded the dialogue in a drunken blackout. He later joked about it in a 2002 interview, clarifying, "There's a lot of things I can't remember, but I think I would have remembered doing that." Tom Waits took Frito-Lay to court over the Salsa Rio Doritos commercial. His attorneys didn't argue copyright infringement though. The singer didn't own the rights to Step Right Up, the song being spoofed in the ad. Instead, Waits vs. Frito-Lay was the first case to test the precedent set in the Midler vs. Ford Motor Co. case, where Bette Midler sued Ford over several TV commercials featuring a Bette Midler sound and look-alike. In that case, the court decided a singer with a distinct and well-known voice owned its likeness. Ever brazen and not quite hip to what the kids were obsessed with at the time, Frito-Lay's lawyers claimed Waits wasn't nearly as known as Bette Midler. They argued that the Midler precedent should not apply in this case. The court disagreed. Well known is relative, they boldly proclaimed, setting a new precedent. Court documents state that a great weight of evidence was produced at trial, indicating that Tom Waits is very widely known. Unlike Carl Grady's lawsuit in 1994, Tom Waits won his Frito-Lay case. The gravel-mouthed singer walked away with a cool $2.6 million in damages, but it was never about the money. It was about dog food. Back in 1981, Tom Waits lent his unique vocal cords to a Purina commercial for Butcher's Blend, harboring regret ever since. Having succumbed to the advertising gods, Waits promised fans that he'd never again backslide into consumerism for another quick cash grab. He pursued the Salsa Rio Doritos lawsuit to prove to fans that he didn't break that promise. Number 8. Doritos in space. E.T. loves Reese's Pieces, so why wouldn't other alien species enjoy Doritos? They are, after all, one of the most addictive snacks in the galaxy. Back in 2008, Frito-Lay shot a Doritos commercial across the cosmos, hoping to addict aliens with the delicious nacho cheese-flavored snack. The ad in question featured a single Doritos chip sacrificing itself to the salsa gods. The transmission was part of the Doritos broadcast project. The UK public was invited to create 30-second video clips with the caveat that the winner be beamed into the deep recesses of space. The winning ad was called Tribe, directed by Mike Boweron, who was 25 at the time of launch. Tribe made it into the Guinness Book of World Records for being the first commercial in space, giving inbound xenomorphs the impression that Earth is inhabited by dancing tortilla chips. Zooming through the stars, this Doritos commercial was pulsed out over a 6-hour period from high-powered radars at the SCAT European Space Station in the Arctic Circle. The signal flew into a solar system over 42 light-years away from Earth, infiltrating Great Bear Constellation, which has a sun similar to ours and could possibly host life similar to what we see on our planet. It's unclear if the commercial broadcast was successful. No aliens have yet invaded Earth pulling a Doritos heist, but it is fun to think that somewhere out there, aliens are enjoying a big bowl of Cool Ranch epicness, perhaps even basing an entire culture on nacho cheese. We come for your Doritos. Number 9. Doritos breath no more. Doritos breath. Some of you may be old enough to remember being afflicted with the Parmesan halitosis associated with Frito-Lay's most popular snack. Even eating just one chip could leave your tongue smelling like cat litter for the duration of the school day. Encountering the hot breath from a friend who just chugged a 3-ounce bag of nacho cheese dust was like getting hit in the face by a semi-truck. Consuming a handful of Doritos back in the 80s was a dangerous game and not something you'd ever want to do before a movie date. Frito-Lay recognized they had a big problem on its hands, but they weren't too concerned about it. The garlic powder used in coating each Dorito with its golden goodness was the culprit. The savory taste is known as umami, and the company was in no rush to change the recipe. But over a decade's worth of consumer requests made two things very clear. Doritos fans wanted a cheesier snack, they also wanted a less pungent one. In creating the nacho cheesier Doritos, Frito-Lay accidentally reduced the risk of Doritos breath. Tinkering with the stink sort of solved the problem. Tuning in and adjusting the garlic flavoring resulted in this happy accident. Then Vice President of Marketing at Frito-Lay, Stephen Lagore, assured that vanquishing Doritos breath was never the plan. He stated it was not an objective at all. It turned out to be a pleasant side effect of the new and improved seasoning. An added bonus, Doritos brought in heavyweight boxing champion George Foreman to sell the new cheesier chip, helping to defeat the dreaded Doritos breath once and for all. Number 10. Lady Doritos. Lady Doritos? Imagine quietly nibbling on rose petal and lavender flavored Doritos. Like secret deodorant, they are strong enough for a man but made for a woman. That idea alone sent the internet into a spiral, creating a huge backlash. Yes, Frito-Lay proposed launching Lady Doritos, and it did not go over well. According to the Pepsi CEO at the time, women in general don't like to crunch too loudly in public, and they don't lick their fingers generously, and and they don't like to pour the little broken pieces and the flavor into their mouth. Oh boy, the disagreements poured in, flooding Twitter with stern disapproval. The initial idea was to create a low-crunch chip with less finger dust for ruining dresses, and the bag was designed to fit snugly into purses. This gender innovation was met with much disdain. "No one asked for Lady Crisp," many cried across the vast reaches of cyberspace. Frito-Lay pumped the brakes on their Lady Doritos. A spokesperson later clarified that the reporting on a specific Doritos product for female consumers is inaccurate. "We already have a Doritos for women. They're called Doritos, and they're enjoyed by millions of people every day. At the same time, we know needs and preferences continue to evolve, and we're always looking for new ways to engage and delight our customers." Alas, the much maligned Lady Doritos never made it to store shelves. Aren't you happy? Number 11, the weirdest Doritos flavor. We can't end a video about Doritos' weird history without looking at some of the truly baffling flavors that have been released around the world. The weirdest Doritos flavor is certainly up for debate. Salted egg Dorito sounds like the worst case of bad breath. Over the years, Earth has been inundated with such mouth-watering choices as char-grilled steak Doritos, black garlic, anchovian garlic, almond cheese Doritos, fried chicken and green onion sauce, gourmet sausage, wasabi, Caribbean citrus jerk, cheeseburger Doritos, and German potato. They even made Mountain Dew flavored Doritos. But clam chowder flavored Doritos win our personal vote for weirdest Dorito flavor of all time. Clam chowder flavored Doritos? Yuck! Well, that's it for us. We hope you enjoyed this look at weird facts about Doritos. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.